Good afternoon everyone. So kanina ni-report na ni Jerlyn yung unang dynamic model and ngayon naman ire-report ko yung kina Skill-Based Curriculum Development Model and kay Eisner's Artistic Approach to Curriculum Development. So ang mga objectives, una, analyze the components of skill-based and Eisner's curriculum development model and value the positive contribution of curriculum development in the Philippine setting, and list down the strengths and weaknesses of curriculum development model. Ngayon, mag-focus muna tayo kay Skillbeck's curriculum development model. So, si Malcolm Skillbeck is an Australian educator who worked in educational policy analysis, curriculum, tertiary and secondary education, the teaching profession, and educational innovation. Malcolm Skillbeck come up with a model for developing a school-based curriculum development and the vocational quest. So, Skillbeck's curriculum model developed in 1976. So, yung model niya is one of the dynamic model na na-discuss din ni kanina, Jerlyn. So, dynamic model describe how curriculum workers develop curricula in various educational contexts and are usually in school-based settings. So, kumbaga, yung dynamic model, from the word dynamic, ito yung active or changing, kumbaga, kaiba sa mga naunang curriculum development like yung sa linear na may sinusundang system or um, fixed na yung kumbaga alignment niya dito sa curriculum ni Skillbex is pwede siyang magbago. So, eto yung model ni Skillbex. So, una niya dyan is situational analysis, goal formulation, program building, interpretation, and implementation, monitoring, feedback, assessment, and reconstruction. So, kumbaga, ito yung mga steps ng kanyang curriculum. So, pakikita natin dyan yung alignment ng curriculum niya. Pero, dahil nga dynamic siya, sabi dito is pwede daw mabago. So, una na dito is yung situational analysis. Ito yung process of examining factors that exist in the environment or society where the curriculum is going to be implemented. So, dito sa situational analysis, kumbaga, dito kino-consider yung um, dalawang factors. Meron tayong tinatawag na external and then internal factors. Kumbaga, pag sa external factors, ito yung culture ng students, ganyan. While the internal is kung sa pupils, ito yung kanilang attitudes, ganyan, na kinoconsider sa pag-develop ng curriculum. So, kinoconsider yung dalawang factors nito, external at internal, sa paggawa ng curriculum. And then next naman is goal formulation. Assign a decision-making role to senior staff and principals of development of objectives for the school-based curriculum. So dito naman, since alam na natin yung kumbaga external and internal factors natin dun sa situational analysis, ngayon naman mag-formulate na tayo ng objectives natin, di ba nga? Mula kanina pa sa EPP subjects natin, na banggit na natin kung ano ba yung kahalagahan ng objectives, kumbaga, para alam mo yung patutunguhan mo or ano ba yung pinaka-goal mo sa pag-implement nito. Next is program building, a selection of subject matter for learning, the sequencing of teacher learning episodes, the deployment of staffs and supplementary materials. So dito, ito na kumbaga yung plano mo. Since alam mo na yung sa external and internal factors, alam mo na rin yung goal mo. Next naman is ipaplano mo na kung ano yung mga ituturo mo. Dito na ano yung mga dapat ituro, and then paano yung kumbaga schedule na mga teachers para dito, 'di ba? At dapat din is may sapat silang kagamitan para dito. Next is the interpretation and implementation. So practical problems are anticipated and hopefully will be resolved. So ating external, internal, goal, plano. Ngayon naman, i-apply na natin yung plano natin na kinakailangan makamit ng mga students yung mga need nilang ma-attain. Yung mga problem na mai-encounter is mare-resolve through implementation nung curriculum natin. And monitoring, feedback, and assessment reconstruction perceives the role of teachers in evaluation phase to ensure curriculum reconstruction. Sa step na 'to, dito natin ma-determine if effective ba yung strategies na na-implement natin. So, dito nga may word na reconstruction kasi nga dahil dynamic model 'to, pwedeng magbago yung mga steps or yung plano dito. Kumbaga, pwede mo pang palitan yung strategy mo if hindi siya effective or yung kung hindi effective yung unang strategy mo. So these are the strengths of skill-based curriculum development. First, the model allows curriculum developer to change the order of planning. So, di ba nga sabi ko nga kanina, dynamic siya. So, pwedeng mabago yung mga steps niya, yung plano niya. And then next is the model offers flexibility. So, yun nga kasi mga dynamic siya. So, practicality, stakeholders involvement, and adaptability. So, dito, kumbaga, ah, dito papasok yung pagiging practical and then yung pag involve ng parents natin, ganyan, and then yung adaptability. And then the weaknesses of skill-based curriculum development model, the model does not necessarily specify objectives. So, kumbaga, kahit wala siyang objectives, hindi siya na-specify. So, the model offers so little direction. Kumbaga, konti lang and then di siya malinaw. And then the curriculum developers need a lot of time to determine the beginning stage in curriculum development. So, gets nyo po ba yung sa Skillback? So, now naman po is kay Eisner's artistic approach to curriculum development. So, si Elliot W. Eisner is a professor of art and education at Stanford Graduate School of Education. He was known for his work in arts education, curriculum studies, and educational evaluation. In 1979, he published the book The Educational Imagination, where he presented his idea on how curriculum development. So, he believed that there is a need to develop a new theory that recognizes the artistry of teaching that is useful in helping teachers develop those arts. O kapag sinabi nating artistry of teaching, it is the commitment that there are more application of principles. Kumbaga, si teacher hindi lang siya magfo-focus sa isang strategy or isang principles, kundi um, um, marunong siyang mag-adapt ng ibang principles o ibang strategy na mas makakatulong pa para sa learnings ng mga bata. So, dito hindi ka lang naka-focus sa isang strategy, kundi lalawak mas nilalawakan mo pa yung ideya mo sa mga principles na yon. So, ito yung mga steps ng model ni Eisner. So, first goes under priorities, content of curriculum, types of learning opportunities, organization of learning opportunities, organization of content areas, mode of presentation and mode of response, and types of evaluation procedure. So, unahin muna natin yung goals and their priorities. The need to consider less well-defined objectives as well as explicit ones. The need for deliberation in talking through priorities. So, yun nga, kanina pa natin to inaano yung kahalagahan nga ng goals kung bakit nga ba, kung para saan ba, kung ano yung patutunguhan ba nung ginagawa natin. So, kumbaga parang sa lesson plan, 'di ba? Kailangan talaga natin muna magkaroon ng objectives para move sa procedures, ganyan. So, next naman is content of curriculum. So, it options to consider in selecting curriculum, caveats about the null curriculum. So, dito may three sources siya. So, individual, society, and subject matter. So, yung content na gagawin mo is angkop ba siya sa mga students or sa society and the subject matter. So, dito natin titignan if angkop ba yung mga content na yun para sa mga bata at outside the school. Kasi, hindi lang naman sa ano sa room or sa school lang yung nagde-develop yung mga children, kundi maging sa outside. Kaya kinakailangan natin na ma-achieve na yung content na ituturo natin is makakatulong hindi lang sa loob, kundi pati sa labas ng school. So, dito, types of learning opportunities, emphasis on transforming goals and content into learning events that will be of significance to students. So, 'di ba nga dahil may mga different learning styles or abilities yung mga children, dito na rin papasok yung dapat hindi lang isang strategy yung i-implement ng teacher, kundi nakadepende rin to sa mga kung ano yung kakayahan ng mga students niya para may ibigay o ma-attain ng mga students yung mga kailangan nilang ma-attain. So, dito hindi ka lang magfo-focus sa isang principle, sa isang strategy ng pagtuturo mo kasi i-align mo rin 'to sa kung ano ba yung kakayahan ng mga students mo. Next is the organization of learning opportunities, emphasis on non-linear approach in order to encourage diverse student outcomes. So, dito naman, syempre, na-determine mo na yung strategies mo. Dito naman is i-organize mo na siya para mas ma-implement mo siya ng maayos. So, kumbaga, dito, in order na siya. Next naman is organization of content areas, emphasis of cross-curricular organization. And then, mode of presentation and mode of response, use of number modes of communication to widen educational opportunities for students. So, dito na papasok yung mother tongue or the multilingual na kung saan ginagamit ng teacher yung mga first language na mga students nila para mas maibigay yung learning na kailangang ma-attain ng mga bata kasi mas 'di ba nga mas naiintindihan ng mga bata kapag yung word or yung language na ginagamit is yung talagang alam nila ganyan. So 'di ba? Kaya nga dito napapasok yung mother tongue kung saan ito yung kumbaga kinalakihan ng mga bata. So kung ito yung gagamitin mo as a mode of communication sa kanila, mas maibibigay mo yung learning or knowledge na kinakailangan nilang ma-attain para dahil dito kumbaga mas maiintindihan nila yung lesson mo and mas magkakaroon kayo ng magandang communication. So next naman is the type of evaluation procedure, use of comprehensive range of procedures at different stages of the process of curriculum development. So dito na dito na natin i-evaluate yung mga procedures na nagawa natin. So, Einer's artistic approach to curriculum development. So, this model can be applied in designing school-based curriculum development or in national curriculum projects. So, it is an open-ended process or a form of dynamic model. So, kumbaga, ito yung mga strengths ng curriculum development na to. It is also a descriptive, yet it also a prescriptive. It also recognizes the influence of various curriculum workers in developing a curriculum. So it also emphasized the importance of having well-defined goals and objectives in curriculum. So compare dun kay um, Skillbex kung saan hindi na specify yung objectives dito, binibigyan ng importance yung pagkakaroon ng well-defined goals and objectives sa curriculum. So, it may be effective in the context of developing and designing courses for higher education. So, kumbaga, itong curriculum na to is helpful or bagay siya dito sa tertiary level. And then, calls for more relevant and responsive ways of selecting and organizing context and learning experience in order to respond to the diverse needs of students. So, nakapokus siya sa pagkakaiba ng mga students. So, thank you!